Is the 5-star review important to you? If you answered yes, you are correct. If you answered no, let me explain to you why it should be. Since the inception of Yelp in 2004, over 24 million people have placed restaurant reviews on Yelp alone. Now that doesn't account for other websites such as Google, TripAdvisor, or even social media sites that have incentivized restaurant reviews as well, such as Facebook or Instagram. Restaurant reviews have become huge in the success of a business. According to FSR magazine, 63% of people are likely to visit a restaurant, but not before looking at a Google review. So if they log in and your Google reviews are bad, the option and the percentage of people who will visit your restaurant actually decreases based on somebody else's review. So if it's not important to you, the Google review or the review in general, the 5-star review should be important to you. Before we go any further, let me introduce myself. My name is Lindsay. I've been in the restaurant industry for 18 years. I started at 16 years old as a hostess. I worked my way from hosting to serving to bartending, and eventually I managed my own restaurant. I did this for years, and in that I learned the ins and outs of the restaurant industry from the inside. But when you're inside, I think you become a little less observant of all the things going on from the outside, because an outside perspective is always going to be different. From there, I went and got a degree in mass communications. I have 2 minors, one in advertising and one in marketing. And then my concentration is in public relations. I started a company with a few friends of mine, the restaurant industry, and since then I have been consulting for restaurants to show them how important the 5-star review is, but also that it's always attainable. So maybe somebody else's outside perspective can help a restaurant from the inside. To the Moon and Back Consulting was created and started from a group of people who worked in the restaurant industry and decided that they wanted to change the restaurant industry. They had the inside knowledge, but they wanted to change it from the outside because they knew all the workings of the restaurant. So they opened up a company of consulting individuals who knew all the intricacies of inside the restaurant to help from the outside. So they became To the Moon and Back Consulting, where no length is too great to better your company. They've created this company from a few employees that worked in a restaurant and grown it into a company that is now an international consulting company. We have worked with many restaurants, taken them from the 1-2-star review to having more 5-star reviews and to having a better review all around from their customers. It's important to us to make sure that the customer is happy, but to also make sure that the restaurant is succeeding and successful and continues to grow. And in a time like the last year, when the pandemic has torn apart so many restaurants and closed so many small businesses, it's become more important to us to make sure that these restaurants that are opening up continue to thrive. I chose Carvella's Pizza Company because they're 1, locally owned, and 2, family ran. And in a time like now, when small businesses are failing because of the pandemic, I think it's more important now to help them succeed than it's ever been before. Carvella's Pizza Company started out 8 years ago in a shack with no AC, and they only did takeout. They had no dining, no seating, nothing like that. And they have grown into now owning a very pristine location in downtown Newnan, Georgia, the very heart of Newnan. They are surrounded by local boutiques and other family-owned businesses downtown, so they have a great location, which means they have a lot of potential to continue to grow. Carvella's Pizza Company offers hand-tossed New York-style pizza, all fresh ingredients. They cut their own French fries, they batter their own fried pickles. Everything is made fresh. It's a small menu, but their food's delicious according to all of their reviews. The food is fantastic. They are right up the street from 2 other pizza places, which gives it a little bit of a, hey, where do we need to go to get a bump ahead? Because the other pizza restaurants have great business reviews as well. So they need that little oomph to take them over the top. Carvella's pizza is fantastic. That's a consensus when it comes to your reviews. Your food is delicious. People genuinely love Carvella's food. There's an occasional person who doesn't, and everybody has a bad day. But the overall consensus, 95% or more reviews absolutely think the food is delicious, hands down. They also really like the service. They think that all of your staff is impeccable. They're kind, they're friendly, and they're attentive. So you've done a fantastic job of hiring and training these people to be the face of Carvella's Pizza Company. Let's talk about weaknesses. Strengths are great. People love good food. But that doesn't always keep somebody coming back. So what can we do? The weaknesses shown in your reviews are things such as your tradition of eating off butcher paper on the table does not seem to appeal to a large portion of your customers. They feel as though the price is too high to not be provided with a plate. In what I've studied, your tradition is everything comes in takeout. There are no plates for the pizza. You cover your tables with butcher paper, which is where people eat pizza from, and then your salads are served in to-go boxes. People feel like they're paying a really high price for good pizza and then having to eat it off of a piece of paper. But not just that. It's the same paper that you have also offered them crayons to color on. So they don't like it. They don't like eating off of crayon-colored paper, which is understandable. The second biggest concern is the atmosphere. According to most of the reviews, the atmosphere is very loud and very noisy. The music is played loudly, which makes people talk a lot louder. So the noise level seems to irritate a lot of the patrons that visit Carvella's Pizza Company. A couple of the other weaknesses that we've noticed is that y'all offer specialty pizzas, meaning y'all's recipe on a pie, which is understandable. It's probably delicious. The problem is people do not like the fact that they're paying for a service that cannot be edited. According to your menu, there are no additions, deletions, or substitutions allowed at all on your pizzas, period. So if somebody wants a meat lover's pizza with no pepperoni, they can't get it without building their own, which then tacks on a price that's to them too high. That's another one of the biggest weaknesses that seems to be in the reviews, is the inability to change a pizza or a product that they feel as though they're paying for with their money. However, I think we have a lot of opportunity to work with y'all's tradition without completely changing it. It's Carvella's tradition to eat directly off the butcher paper. Maybe offer coloring sheets so that people can still get the effect of coloring on the paper in front of them, but not mess up the butcher paper that they then have to consume their food off of. That's an opportunity. Hey, here's another smaller piece of butcher paper. Here's a coloring sheet for your children to entertain themselves with, to place over the butcher paper that they'll be consuming their food off of so that it's not covered in crayon. I think another opportunity lies in the atmosphere. People tend to want to go out and have a peaceful dinner. That doesn't mean that you can't play music, but maybe the level at which you're required to keep your music at could be adjusted slightly. In downtown like that, when there's a restaurant packed full of people, you've already got so much excessive noise that turning the radio down probably wouldn't hurt. Turning the radio down would cut out some of the noise from the music, but it would also lower people's voices in having a conversation as to not be yelling over the music. So I think an opportunity to still keep the ambience, the good customer service, and the music, but to take it down a notch is really truly going to help in your reviews because people will feel more comfortable in their restaurant setting. I think the threats with the company lie in the reviews that seem to be the same thing over and over and over again. Most of your 1-2 star reviews are not about the quality of your food or about the customer service. They lie in the fact that somebody's paying for a service and feel like they can't get a plate. That is irritating the customer. I can't have a plate in actual silverware. They don't want plastic. They want, even if it's a paper plate, I think people would be more comfortable with the ability to put their food on a plate in front of them. And that seems to be the main issue with your lower starred reviews, is the fact that people don't feel as if they can eat comfortably because they're eating off of paper. Lastly, the last threat that I see is that people feel very strongly about the fact that they're offering money to a company for a product that they cannot customize. The lack of being able to customize a specialty pizza has caused a lot of 1-2 star reviews. They feel as though they're handing you money for what they want to eat, but they're not being accommodated. The inability to take one type of an ingredient off of a pizza or substitute it for another has really created a string of reviews that are negative. People have flat out said that that's lazy of the company. Those are their comments, that they're not going to return because they can go, down the street to Fabiano's, or they can even go to Domino's and at least get the pizza toppings that they want on their pizza the way they want them on their pizza. Let's go over the SWOT analysis one more time. Strengths: great food, impeccable taste. They love the flavor. Your staff is incredibly friendly and attentive. Your weaknesses: people don't like eating off of paper. They want a plate, and they want real silverware to eat their salad with. The other thing, they feel as if Carvella's is lazy for not offering the ability to substitute or remove an ingredient from a pizza. They don't want pepperoni, they want it taken off, and they feel as if they're paying you that should be accommodated to them. Now, there's a lot of opportunity here to change a few things without completely changing Carvella's tradition of how the restaurant runs. But there's also things that sometimes, in order to please your customer base and to continue to grow, you have to take the customer review into consideration, and sometimes things have to be changed in order to keep your doors open. In conclusion, the 5-star review is important, and it should be important to you because it keeps your customers coming back, on top of the fact that it brings your new customers in for the first time to experience the atmosphere and the friendly staff and the great food to create more lifetime customers, return customers. I think that changing a few things within the company and allowing me to help consult you and manage your reviews will help your business grow, especially in a time like now when we're in the middle of a pandemic. It's important to make sure that every review counts in a good way. I would love to help you because here at To the Moon and Back Consulting, no length is too great for your company to succeed.